Good morning, everybody. Today's a beautiful, gloomy Friday morning, and this is another morning motivation. And the one thing that was consuming my mind today was, and I guess a question to ask you guys is, what consumes your thoughts most of the time? I know a lot of people are consumed with like worry. People worry a lot about bills, finances. People worry a lot about the state of the world, state of the government. People worry a lot about food and diets, um, and don't get me wrong, those things are important. But the number one thing that I think, and I always say that, right? Like the number one thing is just a lot of things that are pretty much very important. But one of the things that I think is definitely important to be successful is knowing what success looks like to you. So when I moved to Austin 3 years ago, I moved with the intention of becoming the head roaster of a company. Um, Before that, I was with Starbucks for about 6 to 7 years in Brownsville, and I thought to myself, I want to become a roaster. I love coffee and I want to be more involved in it. And I think the roaster is the next step. Now, that wasn't going to happen in Brownsville. Austin was the next place that I saw that was big and had a couple roasting companies. And I said, you know what? I'm going to move to Austin. And I gave myself 5 years to become a head roaster of a company. Now, that goal only took me 2 years. And the reason was because I knew what success looked like to me, and I was not going to have anybody hinder that. So even though I didn't know anything about roasting, I started listening to all these coffee podcasts about roasting coffee. I was on YouTube looking up how to roast coffee. I modified a popcorn popper so that I can roast coffee at home. So I kind of had some hands-on knowledge of like what it looks like, what it sounds like, what I need to be looking out for. I started asking the roaster at the company that I was working for, like, hey, on my days off or when I was off the clock, I would go and sit down and like he would explain things to me, to where it got to the point where he had to leave and I was given that position. Left that company and got a way better paying gig to be a head roaster of a bigger company. And what I thought was going to take me 5 years to achieve only took me 2 years, 2.5 years. And I say 2.5 because of this other company. But the thing that I knew myself was what success looked like. Success to me wasn't being a barista anymore. It wasn't being a manager of a coffee shop anymore. It wasn't even a paycheck anymore. Because I remember when I became the head roaster of that company, of the first company, I took like a $10 pay cut. So I was working as a barista manager, and with the pay and tips, I was making like maybe like 18, 19, $20 an hour. And then when I went down to a roaster, I was getting paid maybe like 13, right? Like I took a huge pay cut, 12 or something like that. But a roaster to me was what I wanted. That was success to me. It wasn't the paycheck that was successful to me. It was the position, because that's what I knew that I wanted, and that's what I had moved to Austin for, was to become the head roaster of a company. Now with this company, I'm getting way more money than I thought I could as a roaster, and I have more creative freedom to roast anything the way I want it, order whatever kind of coffees and beans that I want. But like I said earlier, the way to be successful, or one of the main things you need to be successful, is map out what success looks like to you. Is it getting more money? Is it being, a mom? Is it getting married? Is it, owning your own company? You have to ask yourself, what is success to me? And what does that look like, so that when all these other fake success things come around you, right? So if you want to start your own company, and then there's somebody coming around you saying, oh, well, work for my company and do and then, well, now you have stipulations. Now you're saying, okay, well, is that success to me? Is that what I want? If it's not, then you say no and you pass. But what you need to do is ask yourself, what does it look like to me? So that when success comes to you, you know what it looks like. You know it's what you want, therefore you continue to go after it. And the other reason why it's important to have the idea that you want mapped out is so that you can know where you're at on your journey. There's so many people who are just chasing a paycheck, that they can get a job that pays well but's horrible, and yeah, they're getting a nice paycheck, but all they do is bitch night and day about it, because that's not success to them, right? They're attaching the number amount to success, when the reality is success has nothing to do with money. But if you are successful, you will make money, right? So people think, if I have X amount of money, that means I'm successful. It doesn't, because there's so many people out there who have X amount of money and who are miserable, and who are miserable and depressed and angry all the time. But there's people out there who don't have a lot of money who are super happy because they are successful in what they want to do, right? Like, they wanted to be a teacher and they became a teacher, and that's success to them. So what I'm saying to you, and what I apply in my life, is success has nothing to do with money. It has everything to do with, am I pursuing my goals and reaching my goals? And if that's the way you map out success, and if that's the way you map out what you want success to look like in your life, then you will not only reach it, but you'll be happy along the way, you know. And don't let things like bills, and don't let things like, you know, Instagram and, you know, the way other people live bother you. Don't worry about other people's lives. Worry about your life. Worry about what makes you happy, and are those other things contributing to your happiness, right? So if you're on Instagram and you're getting bogged down because, you know, you're seeing people go to fucking, you know, Costa Rica and the Cayman Islands and, you know, all these beautiful places, and you're like, well, I wish I could do that, and then you get bogged down by it, dude, screw that. Turn your phone off and say, okay, cool, I'll have that life, but first I need to grind, I need to hustle, I need to put in the work to get that life. So that's like on my mind right now, is what is success to me? What does that look like to me? And am I taking the steps to get there? And I think I am. But I also want to leave that open to you guys. Ask yourself that question. What does success look like to you? Are you doing and are you taking the steps to get there? And does that mean that it's real success? So don't attach that number to success. Allow the success to bring the number. Y'all have a great morning. I will see y'all tomorrow. Peace out.